In June 2026, GitHub is entirely retiring its flat-rate Copilot pricing for individual developers and putting a meter on your code. For years, Copilot has been the ultimate ambient sidekick. You paid a single monthly fee, and in return, you got limitless experimentation. You could prompt, delete, and rewrite as much as you wanted. But training and running these AI models requires a massive amount of server compute, and that overhead is expensive. To balance the scales, GitHub is shifting everyone to usage-based billing. This dual line chart illustrates the core of the problem. Line A shows a completely flat trajectory. This represents the predictable $10 legacy cost we are used to. Under that old model, you had total budget certainty. Whether you used Copilot to write a quick script or build an entire app from scratch over a weekend, your bill never moved. Now look at line B. After June 2026, costs map to a wildly erratic path based entirely on actual compute usage. The more you rely on the AI, the higher your bill climbs. GitHub won't release the exact pennies per line pricing until early 2026, but the specific numbers are secondary to the main issue, the death of predictable overhead. The immediate challenge is determining how your specific workflow will absorb these fluctuating costs once the flat rate disappears. To understand how your costs might scale, let's look at exactly how this new utility model will track your daily work. The first likely metering mechanic is charging per accepted suggestion. Every time you hit the tab key to complete a block of code, a microtransaction gets recorded. On a macro level, this is entirely fair. You are only paying for the precise server resources you extract from Microsoft. This diagram breaks down the two likely methods. Alongside the per-action keystroke counter on the left, there is the per-hour timer on the right. In that model, you are billed for active hours, the duration the AI is running in your background. Both of these metrics create a serious problem: cognitive friction. When every suggestion costs money, you will inevitably start second-guessing yourself. You might avoid using autocomplete for simple boilerplate just to save a few pennies at the end of the month. That hesitation shatters the seamless thought-to-code pipeline the AI is built to provide. Usage-based billing forces you to calculate the financial return on investment for every single keystroke. It takes a creative process and turns it into a stressful accounting task. Not everyone loses under this new system. Let's look at the casual optimizers, the hobbyists and students. Their usage is low volume and sporadic. They open an editor for a weekend project or an evening homework assignment, and then close it for days. Because they consume very little compute power, paying per use will likely drop their monthly bills well below the old $10 flat rate. The trade-off is that they lose flexibility. If a casual user suddenly wants to go on an unbudgeted 40-hour coding binge, they will feel it on their invoice. Then we have the opposite end of the spectrum: independent power users and resource-constrained startups. For these groups, Copilot is an always-on assistant running 40 to 50 hours a week. Looking at this bar chart, we can see the projected financial impact for those heavy users. A predictably low fee, like a static $19 legacy tier, could easily scale to $50 or even over $100 a month under heavy continuous use. For a bootstrapped startup, that is an administrative nightmare. A small team can no longer accurately forecast their SaaS overhead when the bill fluctuates wildly based on how much code they wrote that week. Heavy users still get the 55% speed boost Copilot promises, but under a metered system, it goes from a guaranteed cost-saving measure to a volatile financial liability. If you cannot tolerate unpredictable billing, your migration strategy needs to start now. You have to explore the alternatives that still offer flat rates. This comparison matrix evaluates Copilot against three major competitors based on pricing predictability, ecosystem integration, and privacy. Cursor is currently positioned perfectly for power users. As an AI-native IDE, it preserves the flat rate appeal while easily handling heavy daily workloads. If you are an individual looking for a fallback, Amazon Code Whisperer is strong, purely because it offers a highly generous free tier. And if your primary concern is keeping your code completely local for privacy reasons, Tab 9 is the specific tool built for that requirement. The major trade-off in migrating to any of these is that you have to abandon the deep, frictionless integration you currently have within the GitHub ecosystem. Forcing a team to learn a new IDE and adjust their muscle memory will cause a temporary but significant drop in productivity. Switching to an alternative restores your financial peace of mind, but you pay for it upfront with a steep investment in retraining and migrating your stack. To separate your emotional reaction to this price change from logical stack planning, let's map out exactly what you should do. This decision tree maps your options. Low-volume hobbyists and students should stay with Copilot. High-volume enterprise teams will negotiate custom contracts. Startups and freelancers, do you need a predictable budget? If yes, immediately pilot alternatives like Cursor or Code Whisperer. Usage-based billing solves the mismatch between the high cost of server resources and the low entry price of fixed subscriptions. This pricing structure is how Microsoft intends to keep the service sustainable long-term. The only way to safeguard your 2026 development budget is to honestly evaluate your usage patterns and align your tools to match them. You have until June 2026 to comfortably test new tools and execute a transition without rushing. Your immediate action item is to track your active coding hours this exact month. Then a hard, data-driven baseline of your actual usage. You will need all those numbers ready when GitHub officially releases the exact pricing tiers early next year. Unlimited AI access has been replaced by a metered model. Navigating this change requires a deliberate shift toward auditing your usage and treating AI compute as a finite resource.